Hey there, lords and ladies of King of Avalon. This is Chaos Kitty with Beta, and I wanted to talk to you today about some exciting new changes that are coming to King of Avalon. There's been a lot of chatter and um, conversations about changes in old content, introduction of new content. So let's get right into it and take a look at some of the first things I want to point out, which are right on your user interface that are both accessible either out on the map or in your city. And one of the things you're going to notice right off the bat is there's a new bar under your profile picture. And what that represents is the stamina for the new dungeon system, which we'll get to in just a moment. But one of the other really big changes or new features on the user interface is the helper. The helper button sits just above the chat box. And when you pop that open, it's this awesome tool. I'm actually pretty excited about it. And it's definitely one of those old school type of growth tools in a sense. This really benefits both established players as well as new players alike. We'll walk you through your daily quests, help you get your daily goodies, show you and or remind you where all of those much needed resources can come from, where to find more power, growth, and of course all of the different areas that you can apply it to. And then of course being a war game, where to find a good fight. As I'd mentioned, Forbidden Labyrinth with that new stamina bar. We're going to go take a look at that one right now. But instead of accessing through the helper, we're going to go through the city. And one of the first things you're going to notice is a big change in the setup. I really like this design, and I'm pretty excited about it as far as how it's going to benefit both gameplay as well as overall build of your stronghold. And we'll get into that in just a moment. One of the first things that I want to take a look at as far as this dungeon is concerned is the undead trader. A lot of people have been talking about it. Things have gone away or disappeared. How do we get them? We still collect the coins. And yes, you will notice there are some tabs missing. But most importantly, we do get our emblems, our statues, our resources are still there, and our accolades that we use every week. And of course, you unlock them just as you typically do progressing through the dungeon. If you are an established player and you've already built your dragon spirit up, I know that some players are really concerned about the fact that, do we lose our gear? Does our dragon spirit start at 0? No, it does not. You keep your gear, you keep your XP level, but yes, everyone does start from the very beginning and work their way through. The cool thing about this dungeon is that this dungeon design is that it has all these primary floors, which are all these little skulls, and then it's got the secondary bosses that you work your way through to get to the big final boss. And the reason that this is a cool setup and where that gear and those materials are is that this has, a really great grinding free-to-play option. And it's how you're going to get your gear and your mats to make them. Essentially, all of these secondary bosses, again, another cool setup, which we'll kind of get into. This is where you're going to grind for your coins, your gear, some resources, and then all of the materials, as well as your runestones. All these things you have an opportunity to get in your loot drops. The thing I love about this setup is that once you've actually completed the floor, and you do have to grind or want to, because obviously you have to continue to grow to be able to continue to press on through. But the cool thing about it is that based on whatever stamina you've got, you can plunder all at once, several opportunities. You can plunder one at a time. For example, if you wanted to switch up floors, and or you can go right back in and directly challenge the boss. And we're going to go ahead and do that just so that you can get a look for how the dungeon has changed. Whole new graphic setup. You still have your guide up in the right hand corner, um, and you're still going to progress through and collect your chests. They have a smaller drop rate, yes, absolutely, but that's because the drop system has changed. And as soon as we find a battle, I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Battle system is still set up the same. You can completely, auto finish, or you can even, go through the old way and change your speed of the actual fight. Auto finish, loot drop. The minute you kill the boss, you get your loot drop. And then you're going to go through. We've got another fight. What I'd love to get to before we complete this dungeon is the Guardian battle, or the final fight of the floor. You do have your same Guardian battles with the 3 monsters, and or 1 depending on floor. You can auto finish. You get your loot. Now, the cool thing about this is that you can continue to go through the maze, if you will, and collect your chests and so on. And in which case you click search for chests, or you get to leave the labyrinth. And it will give you all of your loot, if you will. So you're not really missing out on something. I think it's all based on your preference of how you want to pass through the labyrinth, the quick way, or floor by floor, section by section. All of the monsters tend to have a different graphic look or feel to them, and then you've got your final bosses, and then at the end you have a great chest that gives you typically a completed scroll. And the reason why the grinding is important is because that's what you're going to need to do to complete fragments. Now, as far as gear, levels, floor 5 or section 5 of the labyrinth is where your purple scrolls start. And then, of course, as you progress further, I'm stuck right here. I was neglectful. But as you continue further, then you get into your orange scrolls and so on. I don't have an arrow here because I haven't finished this floor. But one of the most exciting things about this labyrinth is the stats bonus. And as you can see, when you start at the beginning, you get a 10%, bumps it up to 15. As you finish section 3, you're at 20, 4, 25. Section 5 on up through 8, you're at 30%. And so this is a considerable advantage, actually using or developing your dragon spirit. You're getting that troop health, attack, and defense stat bump up that we didn't have before. At best, we had a little bit of an attack increase depending on whether we spec'd it mage or berserker. So that is a big bonus right off the bat. It really increases the stats. One thing just to kind of review quickly as it pertains to the labyrinth is that research has been drastically reduced. As you'll notice, all of these things that were up here about health replenishment and stamina and so on and so forth, all of that's gone. Right now, all your focus is on is your satchel capacity, the stamina, which actually increases your stamina. It'll increase your stamina level. And then, of course, your spirit, defense, health, and attack. So, yeah, that's been, especially for someone who's starting out new and or someone who's, still in development stages, it's really reduced what you have to put into it. And again, the bonus, the end goal is those stats that you get as you go through the dragon spirit labyrinth. So another change that, speaking of the dragon, and stats is the going to go to our emblems. There's a new, I guess, emblem system or an increase, and it is the emblem tomes. One of the cool things that you're going to notice about this is, and this one is a tome, so we're going to go to one that isn't. One of the things too that I really had to learn, I guess I didn't pay attention to as much when this particular item came out, was that it's really important for the skills to be at least level 20, even though it says it right on there. We tend to neglect reading all of the details. So it's really important to get the full effect of these, or the full benefit of these emblems / tomes, is to get those skills up where they need to be at 20 and above. But this is the original emblem system, and as you'll see, this particular emblem, an epic radiance, maxed out, is at 70% additional in your defense for infantry, cavalry, and your bowmen. Of course, this isn't lit up because it's not, the skill isn't actually at level 20 yet. When you start your tomes, right off the bat, you're at an additional 10%. And then it increases from there. So this is actually, this is going to be a big one. That's really going to set everyone apart. And the race is on to get those going, as well as your skills up. Because again, they're not fully beneficial until you have at least level 20 to get all 3 stats. So this is actually one that has been upgraded. Sorry, couldn't think of the word. Upgraded, and as you can see, we'll go ahead and take a look at them. We'll get into the epic, and then obviously these are base stats that need to be upgraded. But as you can see, a difference from where you started at 80. And these are the upgrades for these are the same as your gems, in that you start with your purple and you can upgrade it to orange, and then your orange to gold, which basically is your luminous, your rare luminous, to your epic. And yeah, as you can see, the base stat just on these epics is at 120%, but you're starting at 80, and as you increase, you bump it up. But this is off of your base that starts or maxed out is at 70. So this is yet another bonus that is coming our way. Stats. We've got the stat increase through the labyrinth, the stat increase through the new tomes. So it's going to make some pretty big changes, significant changes out on the map. Another few little user interface details. When you start a rally, the drop down, that now actually has a feature on it where you can tap it to join. You don't actually have to grab it out of the chat box or go to your war tab. You can actually grab or join a rally through that drop down. I'm in an empty alliance right now, just specifically for this video, so I don't have all of the messages interfering, so you can't really see that. But you'll definitely have an opportunity to take a look at that when it goes live. Some other things that I've heard about that are coming through. We'll take a look here quickly. Gemstones. Let's get to our gemstone showcase. Obviously, we're all familiar with our soul gems, the chivalries, the valors, the champions, and so on. The wisdom stones we have. currently. That's our research. Uh, research. Well, a new set are coming to town, and those are the knowledge stones, also research related. And because they're new, I mean, we haven't really seen them yet. So this is like this is a sneak preview. So it'll be interesting to see how they play out and what their increase is as far as benefits. So definitely looking forward to that. Um, but I think we've pretty much covered it. Um, so we've got our new tones or the emblem increase and the labyrinth change, which is a phenomenal new change that I really think everyone's going to get into once they embrace it. Obviously, change can be difficult at times, but this is a good one. It's a really good one, and I think it's great for to really kind of revive the dragon spirit, and of course, give new players um, a really good experience. Um, we've got our new user interface features. This helper button, she's pretty awesome, and some of us won't use her, but I think the majority will find it very helpful, just to kind of remind us of where to find things and help our new players to really get acclimated within the game, which is obviously beneficial to all of us. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed a review of the new features. Be sure to follow the King of Avalon YouTube channel. And until next time, this is Chaos Kitty and Beta, and I'll look forward to seeing you again.